Hello guys, here with a new video for the channel. I hope you like it, and if you like it, don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, get comfortable. Let's begin. At the beginning of all time, two powerful beings were questioning their very existence, because they didn't know how they had been created. So on a great occasion, both beings were able to meet face to face, while one of the beings was a very handsome man named Keiga, which his eyes were a bright blue color. Unlike the other entity, which was a very beautiful woman with silver hair. However, both warriors possessed an incredible... Who are you? I thought that only I existed in this whole vast universe. First of all, you have to address me as His Excellency, since a simple guy like you is not lucky enough to know my name. Don't you know that I'm the first existence of this whole place? You're totally wrong, honey, since the first existence is me. Keiga was able to say anything more, was sent to fly to a planet that was nearby, but these planets did not possess life at all, so Mayuki would throw hundreds of energy arrows at his rival, which, realizing that hundreds of attacks were directed towards him, and being much more, he was unable to dodge all. Divine Restraint! As if it were a mirror, all Mayuki's attacks would return, but to Kaiga's surprise, Mayuki was able to send his attack flying with a powerful blow. So both of them crossed glances, and instantly, they launched themselves against each other. Although the difference was not clear, Mayuki's power was able to overcome Keiga's power. However, Keiga's skill in combat was unparalleled, since she was able to connect several blows, which were able to enrage the beautiful goddess. Her battle would last for thousands of years, because they both seemed to have unlimited energy. So as millions of years passed, both warriors began to have feelings for each other, so they became partners. I want to have a son who possesses the capacity of creation as I have. I understand, and it's okay, let's have our son. Both gods were able to create the first offspring of the whole place. That's right, Zeno-Sama had been born, but Keiga would soon realize that that warrior, despite being born with an overwhelming power, had the consciousness of a simple child. So Keiga, in the same way, would offer to create a new warrior who is able to protect him. Since the little Zen possesses your ability of creation, this new warrior will possess all my ability in battle. But Mayuki would completely refuse because Mayuki's real plans were to absorb Keiga to stay with all his power and his skill in combat. I don't agree, Keiga, since we have only one child who will be able to change creating life. Mayuki, I know, but you have to understand that this warrior doesn't possess the fighting ability. He only possesses overwhelming power. No, Keiga, I don't want you to keep on the subject. Mayuki would leave the place at a great speed along with Zeno-Sama. However, Keiga, possessing almost unlimited power, would begin to channel a large part of his power and his abilities, so he would begin to create a powerful warrior who be a prodigy in battles, and his power doesn't stop growing. It had already been a few months since Mayuki had left with Zeno-Sama, so in all that time, Keiga was about to finish his long-awaited creation. But he would notice how Mayuki's power had suddenly risen, as well as his speed, and was about to get to where this one was. Damn, I told you no! No, I'm going to end your life and absorb you and your damn creation! Divine Paralysis, Angelic Restraint. Keiga's visual power had grown so amazing in a way that all this time leaving Mayuki motionless was not difficult to him. So Keiga quickly would grant him all the required knowledge, and a large sphere of energy would move throughout the universe so that he would not be affected by the great battle. Mayuki was able to destroy the mental power, so at the moment both warriors began to exchange millions of blows at amazing speeds. Keiga was taking a beating due to a lot of his power being bestowed on his creation, so on this occasion, he had been able to be completely outclassed. No, I'm not gonna die for nothing, you damn. Since you're such pathetic conditions, I'll make it clear to you. I always wanted to keep your power, but I still needed you, and you're already a hindrance to me. Keiga, with her last reserves, was able to teleport behind Mayuki, so she would use a big explosion with her own body. But the power she possessed was not able to end Mayuki's life, so at the end of that big explosion, Mayuki would be seen furious with multiple wounds all over her body. But what made her angrier was that she wasn't able to. Damn worm, I knew you that I had granted a great power to your creation. So I will find her, and I will keep all the power that you've granted her. Mayuki, while trying to collect energy, would fall to the ground just like too much blood spreads all over the body. That's right, that explosion, despite not possessing the power to be able to end his life, he was able to enter his entire energy system, so it was absolutely impossible for him to channel energy. You unhappy worm! I swear I'll finish with your pathetic creation, no matter what it costs me! Mayuki, with all the power he felt, was able to create the first angel. That's right, Daishinkan had been created, so his job was to guide Zeno-Sama in the order and keep her equally protected. I promise that I'll do everything in my power to find the warrior who's able to leave her in this state, milady. Daishinkan, with his great skill in creation, was able to create the king's palace at all, placing Mayuki in one of the rooms so that he's able to fully recover. Daishinkan would teach Zeno-Sama everything about creation. Thanks to Mayuki, had granted him the required knowledge, so after a few thousand years, Zeno-Sama was able to create 18 universes, which, thanks to Daishinkan, created the gods, the angels, and the Supreme, which all had a primary role in maintaining the balance in each of their universes and give life. Just like the angels should guide their gods in each of their tasks and be their teachers. Meanwhile, in a very distant place of all the 18 universes, despite having millions of years, the warrior's body was still in formation, since Keiga was not able to completely complete it. But with the little warrior, despite being a fetus, was able to have self-awareness, since he knew that all created beings were to look for him and annihilate him. So he would camouflage himself in Universe 7 in a warrior race called the Saiyans. On that planet, he spent millions of years until a moment in which his body had been completely formed. Just like all the knowledge that had been granted to him, so he quickly teleported to an inhospitable planet. With all this great power, I'm able to even speed up my metabolism to quickly reach my adulthood, and that's what I will do. The little warrior would begin to channel all his power, with which he would be able to even cause various havoc around the place, but having previously placed an energy barrier, absolutely nothing happened. That warrior, named Kakarot, was able to reach his adulthood, so he wanted to test all his power, and even master each of his skills that his father had transmitted to him. As far as I know, I have a brother, who at this time is called the King of All. This will be very interesting because I know that at some point I'll face him. Kakarot, having despite reached his adulthood, he would start meditating as the sudden change had been able to affect his power as well as abilities. Meanwhile, in the realm of all, Daishinkan was very thoughtful. Who was the warrior who left my lady in terrible condition? After millions of years, no such warrior has appeared. Did he die? Die! I'm really bored. How about we do something? I agree with you, great Zeno-Sama, but tell me, what is it that you would like to do today?
It seems to you if we fight again, please, because despite possessing so much more power than you, you're able to always beat me in fights.
Of course, my lord, there's no problem. And that's because you have the power of creation, and I possess the skill in combat. For that reason, I'm charged to protect you, my lord.
I also want to become much more powerful and be able to have the ability that you have in Daishinkan's combat.
Both warriors have gone into one of the training rooms that were in the palace, so they began to exchange several blows. Returning with Kakarot, he would realize how out of the 18 universes created, 6 of these universes possessed absolute evil.
I wouldn't mind if these universes wipe out everything existing, but I have to improve my skills and better to wipe out negative energy barriers.
Kakarot would begin to move at incredible speeds to Universe 13, so at the time of arrival, he was able to observe, like the whole universe, specialized in slavery and death, so that the god of that universe maintains a life of luxuries and comforts.
It'd be a shame if he ends up with all his pawns.
Kakarot, of an arrow technique with that Mayuki had previously, was able to destroy everything that existed in that universe, which would attract the attention of the god of destruction. That's right, the last 6 universes no longer possessed guardian angels to his power to be able to even overcome them. The god at a great speed would prostrate himself in front of Kakarot. I'm not interested in knowing who you are, but I'm going to end your pathetic life right now. I'm not going to forget that you were able to end my slaves. Kakarot was about to say something, was tied up, but as he had hundreds of battles, he was able to dodge the blow which had been aimed in his blind spot, which even surprised the warrior in front of him a little. Hundreds of years ago, with that simple move, I was able to end the life of a super warrior, which shows me that you have some talent.
Even if you don't believe me, this is my first battle. You'll be the one whom I will be able to demonstrate all my skills.
The somewhat annoyed god had thrown himself against Kakarot since he was being underestimated. Both warriors began to exchange several blows. However, despite the fact that Kakarot had no experience on the battlefield, he was able to compare himself to a god of the highest level. So the more the battle went on, the skills began to turn in favor of Kakarot, since at the moment Kakarot was able to connect a powerful kick in the face of Genshi, which had made him fall to the ground very badly wounded. The damage he had done to her had been incredible.
No! Oh, this hurts! It's the first time a warrior's hurt me so much. Not even the High Priest possesses all the power of his blows.
Kakarot would begin to approach that god, so he would take him by the hair.
I've heard something very interesting. Do you want to know? Tell me who is the High Priest?
Don't say stupid things. Everyone knows who the High Priest is, you worm. Kakarot was able to put his hand in his heart, so he ended his life without any mercy.
I have to possess the necessary information, and according to my knowledge, my father, my brother Zeno, he's pure-hearted, but I have to be ready in case I have to face him.
Kakarot would go to Universe 14. That's right, Kakarot had planned to end the life of the 6 gods who possessed negative energy, as their power was the highest of the 18 universes. Kakarot had headed towards the planet of the god of Universe 14. After having ended the life of Genshi, the god of Universe 13, Kakarot, at the moment of arriving at the planet, would notice as an incredible negative energy, he tried to bend it. However, Kakarot would release much more power, with which he was able to neutralize that energy, while from his back, a warrior was able to put his hand on his shoulder, which left Kakarot a little amazed, since he wasn't able to read his movements. Are you lost, little friend? I'm gonna count to 3. If you're still on my planet, I'll end your existence. Kakarot, of a great Pyrot, would be able to release a great kick, but for that god, it was completely easy to dodge his blow. So with a great power, he would hold Kakarot by the face, sinking him all over his planet. Kakarot would release much more power, with which he was able to get rid of the powerful grip, taking a little. I have so many years without fighting, but I plan to enjoy this battle like you have no idea. I offer you a chance to live, but you've completely wasted it.
The power this guy possesses is amazing. I can't believe it. His power is so much that even my body trembles. It's nothing compared to the other worm.
Sora would start walking towards Kakarot, which, with each step, hundreds of disasters were caused all over the place. But at the moment, a new power would be unlocked from Kakarot's body, having been able to adapt to the Saiyan race, so at the moment, in the same way as if it were a memory, he was able to observe his creator. My son, you are my greatest creation, and being able to adapt to that warrior race, your power will increase in an incredible way, so you will be able to even access transformation that they even do not know of its existence. Sora had launched himself against him, however an amazing power would be released from Kakarot's body. At the same time, all his hair turned a golden color, and lightning strikes fell all over the place, destroying a few parts of the battlefield.
I feel like my power has been multiplied by at least 50 times. I'm ready to fight with you.
Both warriors began to exchange hundreds of blows, which on this occasion were capable of causing some damage to Sora, and this would make him angry, releasing all his power, with which even every planet in his universe would be destroyed. Kakarot would be surprised since he didn't understand that his enemy had much more power. So at the moment, Kakarot would be surprised and, with a great blow, was sent flying, falling to the ground with incredible brutality. From that attack, you're no longer able to stand up anymore. But to his surprise, Kakarot would stand up once more, and instead of his power starting to decrease, he would start to increase, which left him surprised. I don't know what you are, but I'm sure that you're not an ordinary god, so I plan to finish you right this instant. Sora had launched himself against him, but a powerful beast roar had made him retreat hundreds of meters. Since the sonic slingshot had caused incredible damage, instantly Kakarot had appeared in front of Sora, beginning to massacre him with blows. Since on this occasion, the anger that transformed him granted him the same way was incredible. So he would be able to quickly torture Sora, but Sora, being an expert on the battlefield, was able to, which began to mark each of the veins through which the energy was transmitted. Kakarot would throw a powerful attack at him, but Sora, with extreme difficulty, was able to dodge it. I don't like to ask for help, but if I don't, this wretch is gonna kill me. Sora would try to communicate with the god of Universe 16, but before the god was able to respond to his call, he would be taken out of his thoughts with a powerful blow that would make him fall to the ground, vomiting large amounts of blood. You turned out to be a very powerful warrior, unlike the god trash of Universe 13, but I was still able to finish you off. Did you end Genshi's life? Kakarot would hold Sora by the hair, so he would ask him the same question about the Great Priest, but on this occasion, Sora would tell him who the Great Priest was, just as he was in charge of protecting the king of the all, Zeno-Sama. Wow, so a warrior with the fighting ability of Mayuki possessed. This would be more interesting than I thought. Kakarot being able to end Sora's life, a warrior was able to grant him a powerful blow. He was being able to send Goku flying to a very distant planet because the power of that blow had been of another level. Well, it's a surprise to see you in these conditions, Sora. I knew something bad was happening to you since you're very rarely communicated with me. You must be careful. He's a monster. I've awarded him hundreds of hits, and I have been cut several of his energy veins, but he's able to stand up again and again. Kakarot at a great speed would begin to exchange several blows with the new warrior who had arrived, which would leave the god Tristan surprised, since after fighting with his companion, his power should have decreased, but in the same way he was able to put in multiple predicaments since his blows had caused great damage to his internal system. I have to help him, otherwise I'm sure that wretch will be able to end Tristan's life. Sora was beginning to channel large amounts of energy into each of his wounds so that they would be able to heal, but the damage being so great, they weren't able to fully restore themselves. The blows and attacks I received from that wretch have caused me a damage that is even difficult for me to repair. Sora being taken out of his thoughts when a powerful sphere of energy was able to collide with him, causing him incredible pain. That's right, Kakarot had the knowledge and about the power that both gods possessed, and if they joined, they could be a threat. I'm sure that when I master my power completely, they won't be able to do anything against me, but it's not the time. Tristan wasn't able to do anything to stop that attack because he was regenerating his body as a powerful roar was almost able to take his life. Miserable, I felt you were killing me with a simple slingshot of Sonic, but when we fight together, we'll finish with you. That's right, Sora was able to withstand that powerful attack. However, his power had decreased in an amazing way, so he would be on guard. It's not time to heal these wounds, because if I'm not able to help Tristan, this guy will end up separating us. Both warriors then put themselves in a battle pose, so they had thrown themselves against Kakarot, the duo of gods, was able to grant some blows to Kakarot, which are almost capable of putting him out of combat. So instantly, with a great burst of energy, they tried to end his life. But Kakarot, without giving up, would respond in the same way. However, the difference in powers was clear, because at the moment, Kakarot would be defeated in that exchange of powers, falling to the ground very badly wounded on the edge of death. Yes, now your end has come, you worm, good for nothing. I can't believe that guy is without a god has been able to give us so many problems. Both gods would throw their last attack against Kakarot, which its end seemed inevitable. However, in his mind, his father was able to bow down before him. My son, you can't die. I will show you a technique which you can use, but the price to pay will be hell. Because after this technique, you'll feel like all your bones are destroyed for week 1. No matter the price, I'm a father. I'm not gonna die in this place. I'll bear it. I knew you would say that, my son. This technique is called Hyper-Kaioken, with which your power is multiplied 1,000 times. And it is the lowest. It's compared to unlimited power, but only for the next 5 minutes. I trust you. Thank you, Father. I knew this wasn't the day of my death. Hyper-Kaioken! Kakarot, at the moment of activating the technique, an incredible power would be felt, with which he was even able to disintegrate the attack that was aimed at him. At the same time, both gods would fall to the ground on their knees, because the pressure was as if a superior being was in front of them, which even made it difficult for them to breathe. What's going on? How have you been able to unleash all that power? No, not even the power seems to be in another dimension. This power is comparable to the power possessed by the great priest Daishinkan. As Kakarot approached towards both of them, it would be said, so the power of Daishinkan's compared to this amazing power. Definitely, despite being considered a prodigy, I have to become much more powerful. Kakarot, in a quick movement, was able to grant multiple blows to both warriors, but although they seemed like common blows, the power had been otherworldly, since even they, being superior gods, had not been able to withstand that tremendous power. So they immediately fell to the ground, creating a large crater, while blood came out of their entire body, being at the limit.
I can't believe I'm being defeated by a mere mortal. This must be a nightmare.
You really are a powerful subject, but who are you? How is it possible that you don't know about the existence of the Great Priest?
They're going to die, so I don't lose anything that they know my true origin. I'm the brother of the one you know as Zeno-Sama, and I need to meet with him.
Both gods were surprised by the information that was revealed to them.
So, the legend of 1,000,000 years ago turned out to be true. Mayuki-sama, you wanted to end your life to keep your power, but your father Keiga was able to get you to safety in an inhospitable place of everything existing. I'm surprised that they knew something about my origins, although there is a lot more information missing, but at this moment I plan to end their lives.
Please, spare our lives. We promise to serve you. Kakarot would start thinking about the request of both gods, but without warning, Kakarot would turn, stopping the fist of both gods.
I wanted to know if they really would. Since they haven't been able to communicate to the kingdom at all, they tried to attack me. We can't allow a guy from the same lineage of Zeno-Sama to appear. Even if it costs us our lives, we'll end up with you.
Kakarot would begin to approach both gods, which on this occasion, at the moment of approaching, were charred, since Kakarot's aura would rise in an amazing way, being able to leave absolutely nothing of his enemies.
I'm surprised that the so-called Great Priest possesses a power similar to the Great Power. I have to become much more powerful.
Meanwhile, in the realm of all, a small rumble would be felt all over the place, which would draw Daishinkan's attention. What was that little rumble? It's come from my lady's room. Daishinkan, when he entered that room, was surprised to realize how large amounts of energy were traveling all over his body, but the spiritual form of the beautiful goddess would prostrate in front of Daishinkan.
Great Priest Daishinkan, I've been able to wake up, and by feeling so much vital energy, I can realize that millions of years have passed. You've done a good job.
Thank you, my lord, but where were you channeling all these gigantic reserves of power?
I'm channeling them from my authentic power, the power that useless Keiga destroyed, so you have nothing to worry about.
I understand, my lady. Do you want me to inform you about your return? If you have any request, you can let me know and I'll gladly fulfill it.
I really appreciate Daishinkan, but at the moment I just want to become able to be back completely, so it'll take a few more years.
Understood, my lady. In that case, I'll withdraw. Daishinkan would withdraw from Mayuki's room, while at the moment hundreds of shadows and even souls could be seen spreading from the same floor, since the powerful Mayuki was feeding on the power of the beings from beyond, snatching all their soul. The first existence of the whole place, Mayuki would begin to devour millions of souls, without Daishinkan noticing. However, Daishinkan was very happy since his creator had returned after having spent millions of years. I don't understand why my lady doesn't want me to report on her return, but she must have her reasons, although I would love to inform everyone about her great return. Meanwhile, in Universe 14, we can observe a Kakarot as he walked all over the battlefield, but after several steps, he had fallen to the ground with serious injuries, since his entire body, and even his internal system, was completely destroyed by the blows of both gods. But the real reason was the price to pay for the Hyper Kaioken, which required an amazing endurance to be able to maintain the technique.
My body hurts too much. I don't know how to recover.
But by his mind, hundreds of memories of his father's abilities, it could be observed that, right, Keiga, he had not left his son helpless, since he had transmitted to him all the abilities that he had created after having lived for millions of years. So Kakarot's entire body would be enveloped in a great cloud of energy, while his entire body healed at an incredible speed. His internal energy system began to transport much more energy. But it did not cause any harm to Kakarot, since everything was restoring every part of his veins that were destroyed.
Really, thank you very much, Dad. Every day I'm more prepared, but I have to become much more powerful to defeat the new enemies.
So after about 2 months passed, in which Kakarot had completely recovered, but the power he had obtained after having recovered was a complete outrage. Since this time, his base state, the one very familiar to the Hyper Kaioken that he had used against both gods, which even left him surprised to the same.
Wow, this is amazing! I didn't think I'd be able to possess all this power. I have to train to fight with the other gods.
Kakarot would begin to meditate since he had enough knowledge to be able to increase his power without having battles. He only maintained battles to have a better experience against his other enemies. Meanwhile, Mayuki had been able to collect millions of souls, so his body had recovered almost completely. So Mayuki would try to stand up, but to his surprise, at the moment of standing up, he would fall sharply to the ground, vomiting too much blood, while his entire internal system went out of control. That's right, his own body was rejecting all the power that had been eaten from every soul. No, my power is gone again. Damn it! What happened? I was able to absorb much more power in the past. But Keiga appeared in front of Mayuki in her spiritual form. It's a pity that the little Zen I have granted him in essence about every living being, and with this, no being will be able to absorb his soul. Only thought about the gods, since mortals, they wouldn't be able to dominate him. But it's a surprise what you've done. You bastard. How could you even see the future? How did you know I was going to feed on the power of hundreds of souls? From the moment when you refused to form a descent in my image and likeness, I knew what your true purpose was. Mayuki would pounce against Keiga, but he himself would disappear as he was only a spectral form. Mayuki would fall to the ground, not being able to do anything. You're lucky that to this day is not the end of your life, but when that warrior's in front of you, you'll feel the real terror. I'm not afraid of anyone. I was able to beat you. There's no being more powerful than you, so don't brag. I don't care if you believe me or not. I'm just informing you, so you better start training cleanly. That essence would spread throughout the kingdom of the All, while Mayuki was very upset by the humiliation that Keiga had given her.
I promise that I'll end every hope you have. You'll not be able to do anything against my queen, let alone come back to life.
Returning to Universe 14, Kakarot was ready to set off towards Universe 15, so he would immediately start moving all over the place at amazing speeds, all over outer space, while saying,
Let's hope this god is much more friendly, since I don't want to continue ending those lives of those insects. I just want to exterminate the beings of the kingdom of the whole.
Kakarot would arrive to where the powerful god was, but unlike the power of the previous 3 gods and power that emanated that goddess, it was very tiny, which even made that goddess blush a little.
I'm so sorry. I don't think to have Nadia of use today. Don't worry, but are you really a goddess of destruction? That's right, sir. I'm a goddess of destruction. Even if my power's not so great, I always try to strive to get to survive from the heavenly four.
4 celestials? Who are they?
When they pass by, please be quiet or they'll end my life.
The day had passed quickly, so by nightfall both were making their way towards Nin's palace. However, one of the 4 celestials would appear in front of Kakarot.
Kakarot, get out of here! Thanks to you, I was able to realize the value of life, as well as how much I'm worth. I plan to give my life for you. Get out!
Don't say stupid things, Nin. This damn talker, he's not even the chosen one, so his power must be mediocre.
The Celestial had rushed against Kakarot, being useless, since as it were a hologram, Kakarot had disappeared, appearing on his back, so a great terror could be observed on the Celestial's face, since with that movement, he had finished with dozens of gods, and these died without even knowing that he had hit them. Kakaroto, without making a single movement, was able to release an incredible pressure, with which he would leave the Celestial unable to move. But to everyone's surprise, the Celestial was very determined. He was able to get rid of the pressure while rising to the top of Nin's planet, and his power did not stop growing, as even this time it seemed to be an unlimited power.
Where are you getting so much power from? This isn't a power that belongs to him.
But Kakarot, being the descendant of Keiga, the first being of the multiverse, with his great visual power was able to observe as the energy of all the planets that were around him began to enter his entire body. That's right, this Celestial fed on the power of the celestial bodies of the entire universe, so instantly, like a flash, he was able to deliver a powerful blow to Kakarot's stomach. This happens to you for underestimating me. So you are the damn guy who has ended the life of 3 supreme gods. But you are nothing more than a simple worm. Kakarot being hit with all that power was not being prepared. He had fallen to the ground with a big wound, so the Celestial would start laughing. But Kakarot's whole body would start to heal quickly, and the confidence of that Celestial would lead him to ruin. Because instantly Kakarot would stand up and a big sky-colored light had been able to pass through everything around him. That's right, Kakarot was able to reach the Super Saiyan Blue, but the power was completely incredible. But the heavenly being, confident that he possessed all the power of the Universe 15, would try to start to wear down his energy, as he would throw great attacks, not caring about the power drain, which Kakarot was completely analyzing.
It's time! I have a great idea!
Kakarot began to expel his power, and from his entire body, a dark aura was able to cover the entire planet of Neen. So the Celestial, at the time of trying to absorb much more power, it was impossible for him, because that dark energy did not allow him to absorb energy, but he felt more panic when he realized that Kakarot was approaching him, and while his power was growing much more.
This is a real power, which I don't need from beings or planets, and it doesn't matter that I get caught in a place. My power's real, not like yours.
Neen was surprised to witness how Kakarot had been able to blend a celestial, beings that were not even above the power of an angel.
I can't believe it! The power that Kakarot possesses is amazing! I want to be like him.
Kakarot would begin to massacre his enemies, since on this occasion, the Celestial, having wasted so much energy, was not even able to defend himself from all the blows that Kakarot gave him. The Celestial would fall to the ground with surprising power, while large amounts of blood would come out of his entire body, since he wasn't able to stand.
This isn't what's supposed to go out like this. I'm one of the 4 Celestials. I can't lose to pathetic mortal.
That Celestial would try to stand up, but his whole body was completely shattered. Since Kakarot, despite causing him great physical damage, the most serious thing was all the internal damage that he had generated. That Celestial, since every vein of energy was sealed, and that's why he wasn't able to release much more power.
It's time to end your life. I don't like to end someone as weak as you, but you'll be a burden in the future, so I plan to eradicate you.
That Celestial wasn't able to do anything, would accept his fate. So Kakarot, as if he were a monster, would tear out his heart, and subsequently, with a great burst of energy, was able to pulverize it completely.
Kakarot, is that really you? Of course, Neen. Don't worry, but I won't allow any god or anyone to be able to hurt you. I plan to protect you with my life. I promise to become more powerful so I won't be a burden to you. Don't worry, Neen. You're not a bother, but I have to leave now as I want to fight with the last 2 supreme gods. Please, Kakarot, don't kill the last 2 gods, as they are from a pure heart. Just try to talk to them, or take me with you, please. Okay, Neen, we'll go together so we could create an alliance anyway. I have to find that dam.
The latter would only think, so instantly at a great speed they began to leave all over space, being able to quickly take to Universe 16, in which Kakarot was surprised to observe a god, since he had the appearance of a simple child.
Have we come to the right place? I can't believe the god of Universe 16's a boy.
The guy named Bastion with a great blow was able to send Kakarot to fly, since it had seemed to him a lack of respect. Kakarot would fall to the ground, and at the moment, he was dragged down a few mountains due to the power of Bastion's blow.
Neen, how long has it been since we saw each other? I don't know if you're with this bastard because of your will, but I plan to end his life because of that lack of respect for my person.
Neen, before being able to say anything, Bastion had disappeared, starting to give an authentic beating to Kakarot, who was not able to observe all the attacks since out of 10 that he was able to observe, the god connected 30 to him. That's right, Goku was only able to observe a small part of all the blows that were being given to him, because the speed of the enemy was overwhelming. Kakarot, in a lucky move, was able to deal him a big blow, which made him fall to the ground, but in a single blow, was able to even make him vomit large amounts of blood.
I can tell that this god has great physical power and incredible speed, but his weak point is endurance, because in one blow, I was able to do a great damage to him. Yeah, damn, that hurt me too much. I won't forgive you, even if you beg for your life.
The angry god had launched himself against Kakarot, but on this occasion, although Kakarot was still at a disadvantage, he was able to exchange several blows, which at every moment caused much more damage to the little god.
I can't believe it! Kakarot will be able to beat the lightning god, which he was able to beat any of us because of his great speed.
both warriors were able to deal damage to themselves a big blow at the same time, with which both fell to the ground out of combat, Kakarot because he had received millions of blows, while Bastion had received several blows, but out of an overwhelming power, returning to the Kingdom of the Whole, Mayuki had been able to stand up again, since his body had rejected all the absorbed energy, so he would be called Daishinken.
Dai, isn't there somewhere where I could be able to fully recover?
Of course, if my lady. I'll take her to one of the heavenly rooms. Her regenerative power is amazing. Both warriors entered that dimension, in which Mayuki had the intention of leaving with a much greater power than had in the past.
I swear that I'll finish with that warrior that you've created. The only creation that can exist is Zeno-Sama and Daishinken. What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.
Psycho.